Oh dear. Vansexual does not want to start. Oh dear, I think there's only one thing for it. Let's get the boost pack on. So for this I'm going to be using the Gulu Jumpstarter. Ooh, matron, that's a nice colour. So it is a 26,800 milliamp hour jump starter. It has a current peak of 4,000 amps as well, which, to give you guys an idea, it's going to charge up to 10 litre diesel engines. And it's said to jumpstart any petrol engine. So, without further ado, let's put it to the test. Moment of truth. Perfect. Hey, if that hasn't shocked you, look at the other stuff it's got. It's got a light. And to put into perspective, it's just a bit bigger than an Anker 20,000 milliamp hour power bank. And it's got your charging ports on there with your USB and also that big ass light that it's got. Link in the description. So in this video, folks, thanks ever so much for joining me. We're going to be taking you through a quick little setup and a basic electrics install. So I've done all the wiring and all the electrics myself in this, so I think it's only right I'll put it in a simplified version and pass that knowledge on to you guys. For now, it's all about the electrics. I need to change the battery on the GoPro. I've got a USB to install and I'll run you through that process. So what we've been doing is we've been in the back looking. So when I did the wiring on this, I put myself two extra wires. I give myself one down here which is hidden and it comes out just behind there, and the other one I left comes out down the back, which I'll show you in a second. We've got this USB to fit, and I know in the Vivaro I went a little bit OTT with USB points, but you can never have enough in my opinion. So I've got a USB in there and a 12 volt socket which comes with the switch panel. I've got a USB down there, and that is it. And when Izzy's in bed, she hasn't got anything to power her phone, apart from the little tiny all powers which you saw in either last week's video or the video before. And the prime location we found is to put it just underneath here. So I've just checked, luckily we've got enough wire, so when I do the wiring I always leave a good 1.5 meters, sometimes 2 meters of cable, and I just loop it up, wrap it and tuck it out the way so you can't see it. So without further ado, let's get a little hole drilled for those wires to go through. The reason I use these USBs is because they're surface mounted, which means I don't have to drill 19, 16, 20 odd mil holes. There's just surface mounted, and all I need to do is just drill a little hole just for these few wires to fit through. So let's get that done, and then we'll get onto the wiring side of it, and then I'll show you how to wire up a simple circuit with a switch. Anyway, so that hole's now drilled. So because it's, as I said earlier, it's surface mounted, we can put the wires through. I've just trimmed the wiring as well, so what's going to happen now is I'll feed them through the hole, and I can connect and wire up the USB to these. I'm going to put on screen now the circuit that I'm using. It's not going to have a switch, it's going to have a direct feed, so every time the leisure battery is turned on from the master switch, it's going to be permanently on anyway. But I will show you a circuit that I've done where I've incorporated a switch into it. So when you come to connecting wires, there is that many variations of connecting wires together. So you've got quite a few in here. You've got spade connectors, you've got bullet connectors, you've got straight line connectors, you've got ring eyelets. Now I'm not really a fan of using them, to be honest. I prefer something a lot more stronger, a lot more sturdier. These are also new, which I've not used yet, which I might use on this one. All these are, they're pretty much like heat shrink tubes. So right in the middle you'll see a bit of solder. That's a low temperature solder, and all that does is just basically connect the wires together. So when you heat it up with either a hairdryer, a heat gun or a lighter, whatever you want to use, that solder is going to melt the wires together, but also the plastic around it is going to shrink as well, so it makes it a watertight seal. Now the main one I do prefer using, and we always used to use these at VW,
Duraseals.
So yeah, Duraseals are the ones I prefer using. The reason for that, I'll show you now. Inside you'll still see a bit of a silver sleeve. That is not solder. Basically all that is just to hide your wires in and crimp them together, and then you can use a heat gun, lighter, hairdryer, whatever you need to do to shrink the pink. And by shrinking it, it makes it a watertight seal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a step back. I've got the apprentice helping me today. So the apprentice is now going to strip back the wires. So how you strip them is in this part here. So if you put the wire in there and then pull together, perfect. Just show you guys. So that's pretty much all you need. You don't need anything more than that being exposed. Right, I need you to twist them together now. Or just twist it so we get no bird edges. Perfect.
There you go, folks.
Oh, you're getting a bit cocky now, are you? So what I'm going to be using to connect these wires together are these pink Duraseals. Get in there. Okay, so now I've connected all those up. I'm going to heat shrink them on now so it makes a watertight seal. Bit of advice, if you are using a heat gun or even a hairdryer, keep the heat away from the carpet, otherwise it might burn it.
Okay, so I need to go get the black tape to wrap around the wires.
Whoa, perfect. Leave them loose for the time being so you can still, so what you can do is you can still maneuver it and then you can get it straight. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try and explain this then. So let's start at the battery. So this is me wiring in the USB, which you've just seen there, and we're hopefully going to try and break it down for you guys that are not that confident with electrics to hopefully have some confidence to do it. So I said we were going to start the battery. Let's start with this bit of wire here in the middle. This is 2-core wire. The 2-core wire I purchased off eBay and I bought around 50 meters off it. It's called 2-core wire because it consists of red wire and a black wire. So that was the main part that I routed through the van to begin with. You saw me earlier where I routed it all down by where the battery is, and I routed it to various locations around the van where I might want USBs or even lights. So that was already installed in the van. So let's start with the battery now. So you can see from the battery, I've got a positive wire that goes to my main cutoff switch. It is very important you have a cutoff switch so you can isolate the power to your consumers anyway. From the other side of the cutoff switch, we go to the fuse box. The fuse box then is where your lives and your earths will go. So if we look at this wire here that I've put into the fuse box, that is my positive wire. So if we follow that along, it's going through that 2-core wire, and you can see it comes down to this little, poor drawing, I know, but bear with me. This little connection point here is where I connected the USB wire into the main source of wiring earlier. So those little joins here are where we've connected it. So that there is a simple circuit. So as soon as I turn the cutoff switch on, that little blue light on the LED is going to light up to mean that it's powered on. It's also worth noting as well that you need a black earth cable going from the negative side of the fuse box to the battery. Now, let's look at another circuit where we incorporate a switch. Okay, so what we've got in front of us now is pretty much exactly the same as our previous picture, apart from I haven't put a USB in, I've put lights in to make it a bit more simple. You can also see that I've put a little rocker switch in there. Now, those are the rocker switches that I've used when I've been doing my camper. So the only difference is we've made a break in one of the wires. We've literally just cut it. So by cutting it, you're creating what we call an open circuit. Now that circuit won't be fully functional now. If we introduce a switch, and I'll show you now a different picture. So where we've cut that wire, if we put a spade terminal on each end of that wire, and then we connect the spade terminals to the end of this switch, doesn't matter which way round they go, it's only an on-off switch. So you could put them on one way or you could put them on the other way. it doesn't matter, it'll still operate the same. So when you connect them spade terminals now to that switch, it'll be on or it'll be off. And what you've done there is you've just introduced a switch into the circuit. The main thing I like to think about is if you are mounting your lights somewhere on the underside of a cupboard or in the roof, you may, depending on where you want the switch, you might have to have a lengthy bit of wire which you might have to add in, or what I tend to normally do is keep the switch relatively close to where the lights are, or even what consumer you're using. So there we go, folks. I hope that has helped you. All you're doing to put a switch in the circuit is you're just cutting it. You're just cutting the wire and you're introducing a switch. And I have to make it clear as well, you could either have the switch on the positive side, which is normally the red wire, or you could even have the switch on the earth side, which is the black wire. It doesn't matter which one you have it on. If that switch is off, that circuit cannot be complete because it's recognizing there's an open circuit. As soon as you flick that switch, whether it be on the positive side or the negative side, the circuit will be complete. So I hope that's been beneficial to you guys. Electrics is quite fun when you understand it, and I know some of you out there are pretty damn not scared of it, but you don't want to touch it in the fear of blowing something up. But honestly, if there's anything I can help with, just drop me a message in the comments or drop us an email or whatnot. But I've had quite a few people email me and message me on the likes of Instagram saying, can you come and do my van electrics? I'll pay you. It's not something I really want to get into. My weekends are pretty tied up anyway, and in the evenings work is just mega busy. So unfortunately I don't have time, but I still find time to make a few videos just for you guys, and hopefully this is one of them that is going to be very beneficial to you. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you in next week's video.